My final guest is Grammy Award-winning music legend Patti LaBelle. She was first diagnosed with type 2 diabetes over 20 years ago and has since become a diabetes patient advocate. She is also a spokesperson for Dexcom, which is supporting Diabetes Leadership Council's sponsorship of today's program. Welcome, Patti. It's an honor to interview you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Now, as I said, you were diagnosed with type 2 diabetes in 1995, and since then, you've said some of your best friends are your doctors. Can you talk about how important the doctor-patient relationship is in managing diabetes?
I had an incident on stage 26 years ago. I passed out, and I thought that it was exhaustion because we were touring a lot. And they rushed me to the hospital, and the doctor came out and said, "You're a type 2 diabetic." So right then I got really, I was scared because my mother had amputations. My aunt lost her eyesight, and so many of my family members dealt with diabetes, but they didn't have the provisions that I have today to make my diabetes livable. And so my doctors, I see my doctors every single month. I have about 5 or 6 doctors, not all for diabetes, endocrinologists, but I have all types of doctors because I was afraid to go to doctors. Before I passed out, I had never gone to a doctor. So I could have found out that way. And I do believe that most people are afraid of doctors' information, that it could be negative and they can't deal with it. I say, go to your doctors because my doctor is my best friend, all of my doctors' best friend.
Well, that's pretty good. Well, Patti, tell me about what you've learned about the healthcare system and ways that you think it could be really improved for people with diabetes.
Well, the underserved communities are really in trouble. I do believe that we need more awareness. It's like we sometimes have town meetings for school districts, school meetings and different things. I think if we had a town meeting for diabetics, they could learn much more about it, how if they have Medicaid or Medicare, or check with their insurance to see if they're available for them to have like this device. And access to resources is so important. And by doing the town meeting or something like that, they can get great information. So I think it's necessary for us to do things like that.
And have you seen some improvement? And obviously, it seems like we've got a long way to go as far as disparities in access and diabetes technologies like insulin pumps and continuous glucose monitors. If you're better well off, then you've got a better chance to get better care. How can policymakers kind of fix this issue, in your opinion?
In my opinion, is like I said, town hall meetings, some kind of information center for diabetics to go to and get information that they wouldn't normally get because they're afraid of going to doctors. And I believe that with my having now access to my device, I've turned to a lot of my friends, my hairstylist. Her mother's a diabetic, and now she has a Dexcom. So I'm always spreading this great information about this device. Mm-hmm. And I guess if we just pay more attention to people with diabetics, who are diabetics. I'm kind of nervous today, Bob.
That's okay. I'm a little nervous interviewing you, so I understand. But your experience. So in your experience, it's really education, right? You're spreading the word, whether it's through the airwaves, but whether it's politicians or anybody else, because a lot of people who have diabetes, they don't even know it, right?
I didn't know it. Of course, there's so many people like me who never went to a doctor for anything. And so therefore, I had no clue that I wasn't losing my family members to diabetes. I was so happy that I fell on that stage and got information from a doctor. You're a diabetic. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
so
lastly...
It's a silent disease, dear.
Yes,
silent.
no, it is.
It's
It really
quiet.
is. And
You
I
don't
think
know.
that, I think you're spreading the word is a valuable thing in getting people to know and trust their doctors. That's the most important thing I think I've learned from you today. And thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks again, Patti LaBelle, Grammy Award-winning artist and diabetes patient advocate. We're glad you could be with us today. Well, that brings us to the end of our program. A big thank you to the Diabetes Leadership Council for its support and to all of you attendees for joining us for this important discussion. Thanks also to Julia Manchester for joining me in studio. And for those who missed any of these conversations, we will have video from the event shortly on our website, thehill.com. I'm Bob Cusack. Be well.